remember when I first started learning about personal finance, it seemed like there was so many different things to learn, and that honestly, it felt like an impossible task to save up for retirement, especially with things starting to get more and more expensive. I just felt overwhelmed thinking about trying to manage all the different ins and outs of an investment portfolio, and honestly, it prevented me from getting started. But if I've learned anything over the past 7 years of investing, it's more about the small, daily, consistent habits that you do that will help you to get rich slowly over time. If you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Tyler Warlow, and I make videos on topics I wish someone had taught me when I was younger. In today's video, I figured I would talk about 5 small habits that you can start making now that will help you to get rich in the long term. I'm 27 and my wife and I now have a net worth of over $200,000, and I honestly think that these habits are kind of the foundation of starting that build. Will these habits get you rich instantly? No, but it's going to help you build a solid foundation which will lead you to the life that you've always wanted. If that sounds interesting to you, let's go ahead and jump into the video. This first habit is going to seem like a no-brainer, but most people don't do it, and that's going to be simply starting to pay attention and reviewing your finances. More and more people don't really pay attention that much to their personal finances, especially now in a world where there's so much online shopping and it's as easy as tapping a credit card or doing a pay later scheme. This has allowed a lot of people to get used to the idea of buying something and paying for it later. And of course, for many people, this has led to large amounts of credit card debt that they just simply can't seem to get themselves out of. A really good and easy way to prevent yourself from falling into this trap is simply taking the time to start reviewing your finances. The first thing that I think you should do with this is simply start tracking what it is that you're spending your money on. Don't judge yourself for it. Don't start trying to set a budget. Just start tracking what it is that you're spending your money on. And honestly, you might be surprised. Some of those things that you didn't think were that expensive might actually add up if you're doing them multiple times throughout a month. I recommend doing this at least for a couple months, because most people, when they do it for the first month, it's not necessarily accurate to how they actually spend money, because they start kind of being on their best behavior since they are tracking. But if you continue doing it, it will start to reflect more of your actual spending habits. If you don't personally want to take the time to write these things down, there are plenty of great apps out there that you can do, both free and paid for. These apps will take all the information from your credit cards or your bank statements and put them into one easy place where you can see where your money is going. This is going to help you to learn how much you're actually spending, and then eventually you can start to set a budget around this. You can take a look at the things that you actually enjoy doing and make that a bigger part of your spending, and cut back on the things that you actually don't value that much. Let's say that through this tracking, you find that you're going to McDonald's or some other fast food multiple times a week, and honestly, you don't find the food that good. This can help you to recognize, like, hey, this is somewhere that I'm spending a lot of money and I'm actually okay cutting back in this area. Another great perk of reviewing your finances is it can help you to catch any potential fraud that might be happening and gives you a better idea of how much you are actually spending. Like I said earlier, a lot of people are getting used to this kind of one-click buy scenario where they don't really have to think about how much money they're actually spending. But by taking the time to review your finances and actually see how much money is leaving your bank account, it can help you to be a little bit more conscious about it. So after you've established the habit of reviewing your finances, what's the next thing that you can do? And honestly, the next thing is less of a habit and more about eliminating you having to do any work. It is automating your finances. Essentially, you want to set up your finances to automatically go wherever you need them to go. This allows you to have to put a lot less effort into managing your money, and more focus can go in on that reviewing side that I mentioned earlier. Some different ways that you can do this is by automating the different accounts that the money goes into, such as a savings or a checking account, automating an account to pay your bills on time or ahead of time, or even automating your money to automatically invest into some sort of 401k or Roth IRA. Doing all these things only takes a few minutes to set up. You can usually do it yourself through your bank or your job. And from that point on, you really don't have to think about it anymore. The money just goes where you need it to go. I still recommend following habit 1 and reviewing it every so often to make sure that the charges are correct and that you're not losing money somewhere or that a payment is somehow getting missed. But this is going to make it so much easier and make it one less thing that you have to think about when it comes to your finances. This is going to help set you up for success because it can allow you to focus in other areas. This next habit is one that I learned when I was fairly young, but I still use it today. And in today's world, it's easier than ever to impulse buy things. Like I said earlier, we have all these one-click buy options. Influencers are pushing products to us left and right, and it's just easier than ever to get something right when you see it. This, of course, leads to us spending a lot of money that we didn't necessarily want to spend in the first place, and it often ends up leading to things such as buyer's remorse. An easy way that you can avoid this and save your money for the things that you actually want to buy is by following something called the 30-day rule. And it's pretty simple. Honestly, it's just when you see something and you think to yourself, oh, I want to buy that. Take some time to slow down and say, you know what? If in 30 days I still want to get it, I'll get it for myself. Developing this habit actually forces you to slow down and think about whether or not you truly want the thing that you're about to buy. It's super easy to get caught up in this cycle of consumerism, especially as ads are getting more and more targeted towards us. But I think that if you start implementing this habit, you'll be surprised by how many things you end up putting back and not wanting to get, or just straight out forgetting about later down the line. There's nothing wrong with wanting to get something nice to reward yourself, but this habit helps you to be a little bit more intentional and have some thought behind the things that you are buying. And speaking of buying things, here comes habit number 4, and that's going to be that you're going to stop buying things that you don't actually care about. One of the biggest ways that people waste money is by trying to keep up with the Joneses. You can usually see this with something like clothes, or trying to buy a new car, or going on some big fancy vacation that you can't actually afford. For instance, if you don't actually care that much about the car that you drive, or you're not really a car person, why would you spend 40 to 50K every few years to get the newest and latest model? You're just wasting your money. Get yourself a car or pay off the car that you have and just ride that until it dies. If you're someone who gets stressed out or tired from even the thought of international travel, why would you spend thousands of dollars to travel abroad when there are plenty of great local places that you could take small local vacations to that are going to be a lot less money? If you're someone who doesn't care that much about your coffee, then why are you spending $7 a day at the local Starbucks when you could just make yourself a cup at home for the equivalent of like 50 cents? I think at this point you get what I'm saying. If you stop spending on all these random things that you don't actually get any sort of enjoyment for, it's going to put money back in your pocket. And then that money can actually be used for other things such as investing or for purchasing things that you want to actively do. I think you'll be surprised by how much money you get back when you stop spending on these random things that you actually don't care that much about. And I know this last one is going to seem a little counterintuitive, but it's going to be stop being cheap. As someone who personally grew up pretty low income, this was a hard one for me to get over. But if you can afford to do it, start spending money on getting quality items. Now, this obviously depends on the type of product that you're buying. Most consumables, such as food, you're probably better off going with the cheap store brand, as it usually doesn't make much of a difference in taste or how it feels to eat it. But when it comes to things like clothing or furniture, it might be more worth your money to get a higher quality item. A good example is the clothes that I just mentioned. If you're going to H&M, you might be able to afford buying many more clothes, but how long are those clothing items really going to last? Most of the clothes that I bought from H&M only lasted me about 2 or 3 years before they either shrunk so much I couldn't wear them anymore, or they started falling apart and getting holes in them. But I found that once I started spending a little bit more money to get some quality clothing items such as jeans and t-shirts, that those clothing items actually ended up lasting many more years than the ones that I got from H&M. And they continue to look good or start looking better as I use them. I still have a shirt that I bought myself during my freshman year of college that looks as good as the day that I bought it, but I can't say the same for any of the shirts that I got from H&M. This can often apply to things such as tech or hobby products, that if you're getting the cheapest version, it's usually going to break or fall apart on you much faster than if you spend a little bit more money to get a mid-tier or high-tier quality item. Those items are going to last you many years longer, and sometimes they might even last generations. If you're intentional with the items that you spend more money on, you'd be surprised how much money that you save because you're not constantly having to shell out more money to replace the cheap products that you got before. That's going to bring us to the end of today's video. If you found the information in it to be helpful or informative, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe to join me along in this self-improvement journey. If you have any of your own thoughts, ideas, or opinions, please be sure to let me know with a comment down below. I like to read and respond to all of them. If you want to see more videos like this one where I talk about personal finance, be sure to check out this video right here where I talk about how to build your credit score. If you're more interested in my most recent stuff, be sure to check out this video right here. But until the next time, this is Tyler Warlow, signing off.